Alex opened a property listing website at 11 p.m. on a Wednesday, not because he was ready to buy, because he had been telling himself for 2 years that he was almost ready, and he needed to finally check. He typed in Gurgaon. He set the filter to what felt like a reasonable budget, and then he just stared. The flats inside his range had lifts that worked on good days and water pressure problems described in the listing as minor. The ones that actually looked like a normal home, a decent 2 BHK in a decent society, started at 1 crore. He ran the numbers against his salary, he closed the laptop, and he sat with a feeling every middle-class professional in an Indian metro knows, but almost nobody talks about honestly. He had a good job, he had been saving. And the home he wanted still felt designed for someone living a completely different life. If that feeling is sitting in your chest right now, stay with me. Because what you are feeling is not a personal failure, it is arithmetic. And today we are going to do the one thing the property industry is designed to prevent you from doing. We are going to run the actual numbers. I am Vish. Welcome to Vish Invest. Let us calculate how much house your salary actually buys you. Not what the bank says, not what the broker says. What the real math says. Here is the first thing nobody in that transaction will tell you. The bank's job is not to protect your financial well-being. The bank approves you for the maximum loan amount they believe you can service without immediately defaulting. That is the entire calculation. They do not factor in whether you can afford your child's school fee after the EMI. They do not factor in whether one job loss will send you straight into a debt crisis. Their approval number is the outer edge of what they think you can pay before you stop paying entirely. And the broker, the builder's sales team, and the loan DSA all earn more when you buy more. Nobody in that room has a single financial incentive to tell you that you cannot afford it. So let us do what they will not. Alex earns 12 lakh rupees a year, 1 lakh per month, which puts him solidly in the urban middle class. He has saved aggressively for 4 years and built a down payment of 20 lakh rupees. He has found a mid-segment 2 BHK in Gurgaon, not premium, not on Golf Course Road, a normal society in a decent sector, listed at 1 crore. The bank approves him for an 80 lakh loan. Alex feels like he has arrived. But this is exactly where most people stop asking questions. We are not stopping here. Alex takes an 80 lakh home loan at 8.5%, the current realistic average rate for a salaried professional at HDFC or ICICI in 2026, over 20 years. His monthly EMI is approximately 69,500 rupees. That is the number the bank hands him. That is the number the broker circles. That is the number his parents hear and nod approvingly at. But that number is only the beginning. Now add society maintenance charges. In any decent Gurgaon apartment society, approximately 5,000 rupees per month. Add home insurance, 1,500 rupees per month. Add property tax amortized monthly, approximately 3,000 rupees. Add stamp duty and registration already paid at purchase. In Haryana, approximately 6% of property value, which when spread over 5 years adds 10,000 per month to the true cost of ownership. And add the most ignored cost in every Indian homebuyer's calculation, the maintenance reserve. The standard rule is 1% of your property's value per year for repairs and breakdowns. On a 1 crore flat that is 8,300 rupees per month. Assuming nothing major breaks, which is exactly the kind of optimism that causes financial emergencies. Add it all up. Alex's total real monthly cost of owning this flat is approximately 95,000 rupees per month, not 69,500, 95,000. And his take-home salary after tax on 12 lakh per year is approximately 82,000 rupees per month. He is being asked to spend more than his entire take-home pay on one property. Now apply the rule used by every serious financial planner. Your total housing cost should not exceed 28 to 30% of your gross monthly income. To comfortably afford 95,000 rupees per month, Alex needs a gross income of approximately 3,17,000 rupees per month. He earns 1 lakh. He is being approved for a home that requires 3 times his income to afford, without destroying everything else in his financial life. The bank approves him. The broker congratulates him, and for the first 2 months he feels like he has made it. Then the maintenance bill arrives, then his car needs work, then his parents need medical help, and every one of those ordinary adult moments becomes a full financial crisis. This is what being property poor looks like. You technically own a flat, but you cannot maintain it, save for retirement, or absorb any of the normal disruptions of life. Your entire financial existence collapses into one monthly number. Now let us look at the cities, because the gap between what you earn and what a flat costs is not the same everywhere. It is just brutal in different ways. The price-to-income ratio, how many years of your full salary it would take to buy a flat outright, has reached 10 to 12 times annual income in Gurgaon and Delhi NCR. In Bangalore, it sits at approximately 14 times. In Mumbai, a report published in late 2025 found that average home prices have now reached 34 times the annual income of a typical buyer. 34 years of your full salary to buy one flat. Mumbai is now less affordable than New York at 9 times income, London at 13 times, and Hong Kong at 21 times. A city that was once expensive but reachable for a senior professional is now in uncharted territory by every global standard. Here is the part that makes people feel like they are personally failing when they are not. Alex's parents bought their first home in the 1990s when it cost approximately 3 to 4 times their annual household income. Knight Frank and Magic Bricks data confirms the national price-to-income ratio was around 3.3 as recently as 2010 to 2013. Between 2020 and 2024 alone, property prices across Indian metros grew at 9.3% compounded annually. Incomes grew at 5.4%. That is a sustained gap of nearly 4% every year, compounding relentlessly. You are not failing at something that should be easy. You are attempting something that has structurally become extremely difficult for the exact income bracket that was always supposed to be able to do it. So what can Alex actually do? The first option is to buy significantly less than what the bank approves. Apply the 28% rule to your gross income. On 1 lakh per month, that is 28,000 rupees, which at 8.5% over 20 years qualifies you for a loan of approximately 32 lakh. Add 20 lakh down payment, and your real comfortable budget is 52 lakh. In Gurgaon, that does not buy much in 2026, which brings you to option 2, location flexibility. A 52 lakh budget buys a genuinely comfortable home in Lucknow, Indore, Coimbatore, or Pune's outskirts, cities where the price-to-income ratio is closer to the healthy benchmark of 3 to 5 times. Hybrid and remote work has made geographic flexibility increasingly real for the kind of professional who watches this channel. Option 3 is to extend the savings timeline deliberately. 3 more years of aggressive saving takes Alex's down payment from 20 lakh to 45 lakh. The loan drops to 55 lakh. The EMI drops to 48,000. The total monthly housing cost becomes survivable rather than catastrophic. And option 4, the one that makes people uncomfortable but which the numbers increasingly support, is to continue renting while building wealth through the market. In Mumbai, rental yields on residential property sit at 2 to 3%. The monthly rent on a 1 crore flat is approximately 20 to 25,000 rupees. The EMI on that same flat is nearly 70,000. The 45,000 rupee monthly difference invested consistently in an index fund builds real compounding wealth every single month. Renting is not throwing money away. In most Indian metro cities right now, renting while investing, the difference is the more financially rational decision. And the data from rental yields and price-to-income ratios says so clearly. Alex closed the laptop that night and felt like he had failed at something his parents found ordinary. But his parents bought in a different economic universe. The ratio has moved from 3 times salary to 10 to 34 times salary depending on the city. Understanding that is not resignation. It is the beginning of a strategy that actually works. One built on what the numbers say, rather than what the pressure around you says you should do. Your salary buys you less house than you think it does. And knowing exactly how much and why might be the most financially important thing you learn this year. If this video said something the rest of the industry was not willing to say clearly, hit subscribe and share it with someone who is about to sign something the math does not support. And if you want to know exactly how to build real wealth, While you wait for the right buying moment, that video is on your screen right now. I will see you in the next one.